Oh yeah, it's getting elevated.
It's getting up there.
Sweet.
And we got the moon.
Oh yeah, what's the moon phase doing right now?
I think it's supposed to be a new moon tonight.
Okay, Bitcoin's there. Got the stream's up now. It should be live. I'm gonna just grab the link to it and post about it. Okay, where's the Twitter that I was using? Here we go. Tweet this or like message in the Discord as well. Okay. And one thing is missing, and that's soft background music. Fills the gaps.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer. Like even when you're listening to a stream, like I was when I used to listen to your stream and you would have like the Tam's Discord playing or whatever. It was even like a lot easier to listen to like an argument with the music in the background. Like regularly when you're just on the Discord and you don't hear the music and you just listen to people arguing, it's like frustrating and like just irritating. But then like I'll listen to your stream like on YouTube with the music in the background, and it's like even people arguing, like it sounds more relaxing.
Oh, isn't it weird though? It's like chill out music, and then people are like ripping into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, oh yeah, we're all just gonna chill out, smoke some weed, and then argue about shit.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. All right. Good morning. The Fall of Adam. Good morning. Wound Slayer. Spoofus. All right. I'm gonna start like with like the top 10 and like from top to bottom. So we go start at Bitcoin and then end up at I think it's Polkadot at the moment. Let me just check that. I'll get the list happening. Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, ADA, XRP, Solana, Doge, Polkadot. Yeah. Technically Terra, so Luna and Uni are in there because if you remove if you remove the stable coins like USDC and USDT out of there, the true cryptos, like the actual projects, come up and take their place. Like, well, everything shifts up a position. So anyway, let's start with Bitcoin. Just adjust this or equalize the volume here with the music. That's a bit better. Alright, so out on the daily, let's start there with Bitcoin. Some pretty crazy things have happened in the last 24 hours. We've punched through this huge macro trend line here. This trend line starts from this point here, the all-time high, and is traced or links up to this macro high that we had back in early September. Now that was around 52,920, so just under 53k. And that produces this very deliberate line that goes down. So it's sort of like a descending triangle that we've been in. Now, this is an amazing move. We've punched through that, and now we're looking at a higher high. So this is, you could technically call this wave 2. Sorry, second impulsive wave, third impulse wave of an Elliott wave count. I'm by no means an Elliott wave like analyst. Maybe I should like look into it further and understand it more. But as I understand it now, it works something like this, where you get wave 1 is the first impulse wave, then you get a corrective wave off that, which is wave 2, and then wave 3 is basically, or usually, the longest wave. So this could potentially see us break the existing all-time high and climb higher. So Bitcoin could go back into price discovery before the end of the year. So I'm all for that. I think we all are. But yeah, I'll just leave those points. The main point is when you have a low, a high, and then a pullback, you can use a trend-based fib extension tool to try and sort out where your targets are. So I'm going to do that right now and see if like what figures we get off that. So we got the low, the high, and then the low here. And I'm just going to wind this across. So we've punched through the 618 fib level. The 786 is the next test if you're using this tool, which is at $58,000, 182. If we punch through that, then the 1-to-1 extension is just underneath the all-time high. So that targets 63,242 as a 1-to-1 move. So that just means that this move here is matched 1-to-1. Now, if it's gonna be explosive and it's gonna like take off properly, like the 1618 is another one to look for, which is 77,852 on here. So maybe we could be seeing a wave 3 that goes up as high as just under $78,000 for Bitcoin. Now that would be incredible. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, projection is 75 by December.
Oh,
the end of December.
Yeah.
75 is my prediction, and then we get 100K in May of next year.
Cool. Well, I'm keen to see that. Yeah. So I'm almost ready to say that this. Let me just hide this Elliott wave line. So you guys might have seen in a couple of other streams ago that I was talking about this ramp that goes down, where you get lower highs, lower, 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 and then you go into a true bear market. Now that we've broken this yellow line, that kind of outcome is looking less likely. Like it looks like we've broken that curse. The 2018 curse was looming. It definitely was, because like it was, we had this macro lower high, and that's what could have played out. I think I've got an arc. A curve. Yeah, there's the curve. So we're above the curve now, which is the best kind of start that you could hope for, you know, for the bulls. So, all right, we've established that. Now let's check out the good old death cross we had on the daily back in mid to late June. We bull cross. We golden crossed here, which is a bullish expected move. However, we had a bit of a hiccup, and we had that flash crash. Oh, this was the flash crash here on Bitcoin.
Don't mean to interrupt. It looks like Doge is the dip of the day.
Doge is dipping? Okay, yeah.
It's going for the dip of the day.
Wow. All right, well, be careful on Doge. Now, so for Bitcoin, like today, the start of the daily candle, we're 16 minutes in today's candle. So I think the first hour, you have to give it a bit of time to settle into the where things are headed for the rest of the day. So yesterday, holy shit, like look at that. That's up 7.5% in a daily candle. That's a big deal for Bitcoin. Like that's a bigger daily candle than any of the candles we saw on this climb here, from 30 to 53. So this is a big sign. If not, like even just look at this one here that we got back on the 1st of October, or for you guys it would have been the 30th of September in America. But anyway, that candle was so like bullish. That should have been a sign, or that could have been a sign that, you know, it's the beginning of this new really incredible wave. Because the money that it takes to produce that kind of candle that's the serious like whale money, right? That's the market maker money. So it's like if you see hints of that happening in a big way, you know that they see something big coming. Otherwise they wouldn't have pushed it to that level. They wouldn't have bought everything that was on the books here. if they didn't expect something to happen, you know, later, because they don't just buy and then see it drop. You know, it's a deliberate purchase, I think. Anyway, so the target that we all want to see Bitcoin get is these next fib extension targets. Now, with fib extension out of the way, let's just hide that. I'm just going to hide it. You look at the pivots as well. So there's these $60,000 is a very key psychological level, just like 50,000 was that we've just recently punched through. So yeah, we're back in this neighborhood. Remember, we were all in here. This is the top of the bull market from the start of the year. Correcting off that was very healthy, and that gave, you know, the crypto market a second attempt. You know, this is the second chance that everyone was hoping for, wanting. I was calling for actual prices to go into the 20s more, like maybe back test the old all-time high over here. But the fact that it held 30, you know, I know there was some wicks beyond that, but the fact that it held up here is just evidence that there's new players in town, like big institutional money, willing to buy it at 30,000. Like, they see that as a good price, which is that's incredible. That means this entire asset is showing it's continuing to climb, even while having huge gaps left behind. It did not backtest 20,000. It just skyrocketed through it, and here we are, like reapproaching our all-time high of 65,000. We're only 10,000 away from our all-time high. That, put it into that perspective, you know. We can climb 10,000 quite easally, as has been evident in the last few months. Exactly. So, all right, that's enough about Bitcoin. I think it's quite obvious we're on an uptrend. Breaking this was very instrumental. Like, that's a very key level to get above. We are now dealing with a higher high. Even if this pulls back, like, it doesn't matter, because we've made a higher high, and we obviously have our higher low. Because, you know, the macro is what we're looking at. And not to mention, we were facing a potential a rising wedge, which has the result of falling out and going to the downside. And we've actually invalidated that rising wedge. So I'm going to delete it now because it's invalidated. So we don't need to focus on that. Now, maybe I'll leave it there just to sort of measure where we came from. Yeah, everything below that. Let's just go down to the 15-minute chart. We had this bull pennant, and typical Bitcoin went on a stop hunt. Well, it actually back tested that big old yellow line that we were talking about earlier, and then took off. So when you get that, when you get any chart, like when you get the price action breaking resistance and then coming to back test it, and if the back test proves as support, that instills a lot of confidence in the bulls, and that's probably another factor as to why it's, you know, so many people are confident to push the price up, you know. This isn't just retail.
And it's also a 35% increase over the last 8 days. So to see that pivot, that's great.
Hell yeah. Yeah. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Let's check out Ethereum. BCDE, ETH, there it is. Okay. Let me go to the macro view, the daily. Now, I've got this set up for this move, so it's still below this pivot over here. So it made a high back in early September of just above, you know, a little bit above $4,000. $4,000 retraced back down to 2,652 as the lowest point for the pullback. So it formed like a falling wedge, which we know textbook results in a break to the upside. Now, currently it is at resistance, like this pivot here is the next point to try and break through. Now that Bitcoin has made this move where it's punched all of its resistances and it's now back trying to discover or trying to fight to its way to making 60,000, I think it's going to give enough room for Ethereum to do its run as well. So now the more that, see, this is the total market cap value. We are still trying to get our way back up to the previous high. This is the all-time high of the market, 2.57 trillion. This was the reattempt, like the reapproach that we had just before the Bitcoin flash crash. We got to 2.43 trillion. And can you see something here? If I delete these angled lines here, check this out. Like where we've met resistance so far seems to line up with, if you lock in a line from here to here, check it out. See how it touches perfectly. Like the current resistance meets at this trend line here.
Did it hit your line?
It hit my line, and it got so far it's below it. Like it got rejected off it. So now it all changes when you go down to a lower time frame because the angle changes depending whether you're on the daily or the hourly, you know, so it doesn't sort of stay put. But if I zoom in, it didn't quite hit it. I think there's a gap in there. Let me see. Yeah, there's a little gap. See that? Didn't quite hit it. But it's close. I mean, it's damn close.
Damn close.
And it's not really my line, it's the market's line. Like that's just top to top, drawn across.
It's our line.
Yeah, it's everyone's line. So, all right, that's the total. Now let's get back to Ethereum. So, Ethereum's climbing. Its current resistance is this pivot here of $3,676. It needs to break that. I don't see any sign of it falling just yet. It did fall out of this rising wedge, if we go back to the hourly chart. But it found support on this fib level here, this 0.5 fib level. And that coincides with this resistance point right there. So previous resistance becomes future support. Here, technically there, or arguably there too, but then, yeah, this was perhaps just the retest of a trend, or this rising trend here, or this caused the trend actually, that dip. Now when I say the trend, I mean this red line here, this ascending red line. But anyway, we've established that $3,340 is some level of support to go off support resistance, right? And we're seeing if we can just do what Bitcoin did and invalidate this rising wedge as being a bearish pattern. Like we want to punch through it and go beyond it. Now, sorry, just to take it back to Bitcoin here, I'm going to turn on the volume indicator. I might have to close one of these other indicators because it won't let me add more than X amount of indicators at a time. So volume, go out on the daily. Has this activity been reflected in volume increase as well, you know? So this huge move here, yes, it was going up, but the volume at the same time was slowly decreasing. So it was like diverging, you could say. And then obviously we got the correction off that. Now this time around, is this move climbing? Are we seeing the volume increase as well? And yes, it is. Like this volume candle here, this second one is higher than this one. So that's a good start. that means it's healthy. It's a healthy move up. You know, we want to see the daily volume bars continue to climb and you know, get spikes similar to back here. See how the average direction of the volume was on the rise. It was weird because volume actually was falling since, like, this was the peak volume was here, and ever since then volume fell over time. Like, there was an average, and we all know that this whole area was full of bearish divergence. So these moves here were just, you know, pushing beyond what was healthy, I suppose, and that's why it got that correction. All right, now let's go back to Ethereum. Now the oscillators, like, let's see what they're saying on the daily. Hey, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
You're right.
Just wondering, are you in any long positions at the moment? How you feeling about the market?
I'm confident about the market since breaking the resistance on Bitcoin, like this descending resistance here. I know Tame was saying that there was a bull trap at 52,000, and you know, for a brief moment it looked like it was playing out that way. Like we tagged just shy of 52 and then got this pullback. But the thing is, it found support on top of the trend, that big descending trend, and now we've smashed through way past 52, and it's, you know, I hope, like we all hope, that it continues to climb. So yeah, it was I don't think it was wrong. Like, it was somewhat of a bull trap, because I'm sure a lot of people were expecting a rise out of this pennant. Like, you know, the textbook play out of a pennant. So it did initially, it wicked out of the pennant. Let me go back to like the 15-minute chart here. Like, see, we got action, we got activity above it. And perhaps, yeah, I mean, perhaps people did get trapped there. And then this pullback may have been, you know, kind of vicious for them. Like, maybe they got stopped out, maybe they got liquidated, who knows. But anyway, point is, we're here now, so new information, you have to readjust your, you know, where your stance is on where things are going. So yeah, I mean, it's just a good sign to see it break this. See, this is what I was looking at, this pivot point here. To get above that, that's significant. That's a big deal. And it's not just a wick above it. We've got candle closes above there. Even on the daily closed quite strong, like way up here. Yeah, it closed at $55,315. So that's a good start. Now,
yeah, I'd like to see it consolidate for a day or two.
Yeah, like if it
just so the alts can sort of have a bit of a run.
Yes. So if Bitcoin does, like, obviously we've got this move up, and it's similar to this, right? We got this move up, and then we got all of this time going flat. Like, we're just waiting for the next movement, whether that was going to be down or up. So the fact that we've got, you know, we've found that new high, like, this is sort of like the flagpole of what might become a bull flag or a bull pennant. That's you know, we can tick that off as move one, right? So now this could still stay healthy and do this for the next few hours or a couple of days or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, yeah, when Bitcoin does this, when it establishes support and trends sideways, the alts do have time to see some action as well. I mean, through this whole area, it's been Shiba, right? Shiba has had a lot of activity of Bitcoin bringing all this money back into the market. or just the market, you know, going up in general, like the total market cap. You can see it's punching up to new highs again. I'm keeping my eye on this, like this descending trend line. We need to get above that on the total market cap. So that's this point, and also, you know, this white line here, this descending resistance line. If we can get back above that and then test the all-time high for total market cap, then yeah, we're back into price discovery. So, and that's great news for the bulls. So, wow, Shiba. Okay, I'll take a look at that after we've gone through the other alts. So anyway, Ethereum. I got sidetracked a bit there. Sorry. Ethereum. We're above the golden pocket, this golden ratio level on the fib retracement. Now this is a resistance fib, so I've gone top to bottom. So this high here to this low here, and next target is to get above not only this pivot but the 786 Fibonacci level, and then the big hurdle that we can all see is this $4,000. We need to get above 4,000. But remember, yeah, it is still in like somewhat of a rising pattern right now, so that's kind of concerning. Does this call for like an adjustment of the lines here? Like, now when you get new information, new bars on your chart, it is okay to adjust to compensate for the new information that you're given on the chart. Just because I've moved my like this line from here down to here, like, if you want to call that cheating or whatever, that's up to you. But to me, it's just, you've got new information, you may as well use it. So adjust accordingly to the new information in front of us. So you know, if it helps you make profits, then do it. You know, if it helps your analysis, go for it. So you just seen me do that. I've moved it from a sharper line to now this more shallow line using these pivots. It's a more shallow angle. It's not as steep. But if you'd like, I'll leave the old one in there too. I'll just make it I'll just make it look different. 1 second. Maybe dashed, just so we can keep an eye on what it did. I'll make it a bit.
Nothing
lighter.
wrong with a little bit of calibration. A
little bit of calibration, yeah, that's right. I mean, we do it every day, don't we? We recalibrate. We have to accommodate the new information that is given to us. So here we go.
Yeah, you gotta play the data. They gotta play the data you have, for sure.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, even this line here, I do want to incorporate this high, but I'm excluding this high by doing that. So now that there's a third touch, I don't know. Just the point is, play around with it until you get more clarity on what's happening, you know? That's the point of these trend lines. It's just you're trying to make sense of the chart. That's the end goal, right? You're just trying to make sense of the chart. So adjust accordingly. All right, now it's technically, like Ethereum in this technical this technical pattern here, it is still a rising wedge. We haven't broken that yet. But it could do what Bitcoin did and break it. See, Bitcoin was in a rising wedge too, you could argue, and it broke up through it. So these patterns aren't like be all end all. Like, you know, they're not concrete outcomes. You know, they're not definite. There's always a chance that they can fail. So all right, that's Ethereum. Still bullish on it. I think everyone's pretty much bullish at this point. I bet you the Fear and Greed Index. Let me look that up. Fear, Greed, Bitcoin. There it is. Look at that. We're back into extreme greed right now. It wasn't that long ago that it was 45 degrees the other way, you know. sorry, 90 degrees the other way, at like 24, something like that. Yeah, so the market's looking greedy again. Play it safe, of course. Don't get stuck in bags just because you're chasing the green candle. Now, as we're speaking right now, Ethereum is actually performing a dip too. It's pulling back. Keep an eye on the levels of support. So like the previous pivot points. So here and here. It's currently meeting the pivot of this here. And we'll see if it holds. But yeah, no, just the way it's like heading down here looks like it's going to be traveling back and maybe testing this rising wedge, the bottom of the wedge here. And just be aware the textbook play for a rising wedge is a drop. So just be aware of that and be cautious on Ethereum. But from the macro perspective, it looks good. Like, it still looks good, regardless of this rising wedge. You know, we're above. And just the fact that Bitcoin is back above these pivots is the positivity we need to see the alts do their thing. We just have to be patient and wait for that time, you know, wait for the green light. All right, so what's the next one on the chart? BNB, I think it is. I'll just do a quick look at BNB. I know not many people trade BNB in this community, but I don't think it's been doing that amazing compared to some of the other alts. It's still in this major, underneath this major descending trend line, so it hasn't broken out of it yet, like Bitcoin has. If you go back to Bitcoin, it's broken out of that yellow descending line. So BNB still underneath it, still has the chance to break out. It currently looks like it's in some kind of a consolidation here after this move up. So whether that is a pennant or a flag or whatever, like the point is, like it's consolidating at this level. Now, as far as the oscillators go, on the daily, it's nowhere near overbought yet. You know, it's got a lot of headroom above it. And if you check Bitcoin's oscillators, let me just see. Turn that Doge pack one back on. Where is it? This one. Up the list where it was before. Yeah, okay, so it's tagged 70 on the RSI on the daily. So it is approaching overbought, but that doesn't mean that it can't keep climbing, because as we know in the past, this thing can go way up into like to 90 on the daily RSI, which is awesome. Like that's it's got a lot of room to grow, I think. Is there any kind of divergences happening? No, there's no bearish divergence on the daily at this stage. It's still early. We're still getting our first high, our true high, you know. Now Ethereum, we've looked at that already. The oscillators, it's actually looking kind of scary. Like, look at the MACD. That's about to do a sell cross on the daily. Well, sorry, this is the hourly. It's about to do a sell cross. So, yeah, the next few hours could be a bit of a dip here on Ethereum if that doesn't correct itself and travel up. BNB, yeah. Go back to the hourly. It's in a channel, that's for sure, in a trading range between, what's that, $440 roughly, and what's the lows? 410, just to call out the extreme number. So that's the range. There's something called a measured move up, where you come up into the channel, consolidate sideways for a while, and then break up and go up. It's another continuation type pattern. So yeah, that's BNB. It's still looking healthy enough to keep moving up. It's got room to come up and test the top of this trend line as well, so that could still happen. If I do a fib retracement from that previous high over here, take it down to the low, scroll it across, you can see it's found resistance at the golden Fibonacci level currently. And you see a common theme here. We keep seeing activity around this golden pocket, this 618.65 area. You know what did this? XRP, which is, I think, almost, well, it's coming up. I'll be able to cover that soon. So yeah, we've had a look at BNB. There's still room to move up and test the top of that trend. The MACD is still like fairly charged. It's by no means overbought. Neither is the RSI and the daily. So yeah, there's still room to climb for BNB, I feel. Now let's check out ADA, Cardano. ADA. There it is. All right. So it broke through that descending trend line here. So we have all-time high over here. And there has been this trend where price has just been wicking to and getting rejected. We're beyond that now. So what's on the cards for ADA? I think this is the coin that wasn't really paying attention or respecting the fibs too much. It's been in sort of like a slight bleed out. We just want to make sure it maintains stability and support above this yellow trend line here. If we lose the yellow trend line, we're going to come back to this old trend, which happened back in late last year. And it's just been, slowly climbing. So it is, if you look at this perspective, ADA is still very elevated above that trend. Just be careful with ADA because this thing could correct and get back in touch with this trend line. But yeah, as far as the pivots go, we're still very much above $2. And that has proven to be even just in recent activity here on the daily, you can see it's been acting as some kind of support. Like we've had support here. There's a couple of wicks through here, but the candle bodies seem to be holding at around $2. There's this really sharp rejection or support bounce here at $2 as well. So yeah, I think that line should be the one that we're all paying attention to. $2, $1.90 at the worst as a line of support. So and that's due to this pullback here and this one here. So it's a bit of a range, I would say. It's like a support range in this area. $1.90 to $2. All right, that's ADA. Not really anything exciting to look at with it, other than the fact that it's, it's trying to establish and maintain support where it's standing. And I think XRP is similar. So let's check XRP now. I might have to go alphabetical. All right, right to the bottom of the list. There we go. All right, so it's still in the same area as we saw it yesterday. This, $1.05 area, $1.06. We got a high as $1.10 yesterday. But, I think about a week ago I was saying anything below $1 would be a good buy for XRP. Like whenever you see dips go down below $1, just in the current state of the market, that is a good buy of course. So the court case is still ongoing. I think we talked about this quite extensively yesterday in my stream yesterday. But yeah, there's still no definitive conclusion yet about that case. I think it's still ongoing. I think the Ripple CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, put an offer out like that he wanted to settle, or he was prepared to settle on some condition. You know, go digging for that information if you want to read more about it. But yeah, as far as the technical aspect of it goes, so we'll leave the fundamentals aside and just look technically at where we're at. Our yearly high, this is not the all-time high, remember, this is just the high we had this year of $1.96, so just under $2, and the lowest point after that high was 50 cents, 50.9 cents. So that gives us these fib levels, and check out once again, star of the show, the 618 Fibonacci level was proving to be too strong, and we got a clean rejection off that fib level. From that rejection, just like a lot of the alts and Bitcoin, it put itself into a falling wedge, which usually results in a bullish break if you can, you know, catch the point of the breakout. So that would have been a nice trade. That would have made you 20, just under 25% from, you know, from the breakout point to the top, the current top, because this thing could still continue to climb. So currently we're fighting at this 382 fib level. We need to break through that in order to, you know, test the higher fibs. We need to, now the writing's on the wall, we need to get above that. You know, that's the pivot that is staring everyone in the face right now. You know, once we get that higher high, like if let's say we come up and test the 786 fib, that puts us on a new uptrend. Even if we fall back off the 786 and get rejected and find support at the golden pocket, that is good news for XRP, you know, if we can just get up back into that range. Alright, someone's saying the background music is maddening, so I apologize for that. Do you want me to turn it down? I'm going to put a poll up, 1 second. Music off. Say on or off, and we'll see what people vote. Okay, there we go, polls up. Alright, now so majority rules in this little poll that I've put up. So whatever the, okay, 7 votes so far. Most people want it on, so I apologize to the people that hate the music. It's pretty low. It's pretty low in the mix, isn't it?
Yes, it's very low.
Yeah. It's just for awkward silences like right now, like when I'm not talking, that you can hear it. Alright, so let's see, we've got, what we'll be looking at, XRP. Alright, yeah, so we need to get this hurdle out of the way, the 0.5, and then the golden pocket here above the 618 fib level, which is this pivot. But we're off to a good start. The fact that Bitcoin's moving up, and even though today is starting off a little bit of a pullback, that doesn't matter. We've just done a really bullish move, so seeing any kind of, like, you know, pullback off this huge uptrend is natural and healthy, so don't stress about that. The MACD is still very primed to move up. There's no white or light green histogram bars just yet, so we're not pivoting or anything like that yet. And there's, you know, the MACD and signal line are very opened up and heading upward. Now the cipher indicator, the momentum wave, is still very much on a climb. The only thing that might be showing a bit of exhaustion is the RSI, which has hit 70 or just above 70, and we're getting like a slight like pullback off that. But look, you can see in the past, like you know, we can get RSI going above 70 and we can continue to climb off that. See, look, we hit way above 70. That was the highest MACD point that we hit on this entire move, right? The rest of them were lower. So this whole move was bearish divergence. The whole move. Which means we can hit bearish divergence off this move, but continue to climb and see, you know, tests of the all-time high. So, yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, don't get disheartened by the RSI being overbought, because things can still move regardless of where the RSI is situated. The price will do its thing. Like, it'll cause divergence and, you know, corrections after that. But, you know, why wouldn't you trade into a move that goes up, you know, and sit on the sidelines just because you're scared of a bit of bearish divergence? You know, there's money to be made regardless of that. So anyway, I'll move on. So XRP, yeah, still kind of flat. Nothing exciting just yet, but I think we're due to see something crazy again in the coming days or weeks, I would say. That's pretty obvious. I don't think it's just going to sit flat on $1 for the rest of the year. I don't think.
What kind of swing, Rick, if you think if something happens in the next few weeks, some court decision or a settlement or whatever, what do you think if the exchanges open back up in the US, what kind of swing do you think? I mean, how much power behind the US sentiment do you think there will be on purchasing XRP?
Yep. Well, if XRP can get to $2 in the midst of a court case, or not in the midst, like in the middle of a court case, if it can get to $2, and, you know, there was no result there. That was just, I think, a little bit of good news, and it pumped like crazy, right? So, if the case closes, I reckon we'll be going beyond $2. But that's my optimism talking. I'm trying to stay like as impartial as possible when talking about XRP. You know, like. I still think it's got a lot of potential to move up because of where it's been in the past. It's been to like $3.30 in the past, and it's, you know, it's sitting around $1. So yeah, there is potential there. Even if it just goes to $2, that's gains to be had. You know, that'd take you up 85%.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's kind of hard to be neutral, you know, with the looming possible news here coming pretty soon that. Yeah. It could be back open to the US. I mean, it's kind of hard to stay neutral when you know where we've been, you know where we're at, and it's like, man, you're opening up a whole new market. I think the sentiment is good, you know, in the US. You know, if it opens back up, I think we're going to be right there in it. So,
yeah, that's it. I mean, the whole fundamental aspect does form some kind of a bias. Like you do develop a bias off your own opinion of what's happening in the fundamental realm. But yeah, technically it's set up to continue moving. Like we've got a higher low here. We've set in a high. Now we just need to get our higher high. Like that's just the next natural move if you're like counting this out, like similar to an Elliott wave, right? Like if this is to climb in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fashion. Yeah, that's XRP. I'm going to move on because XRP is just... Yeah, there's nothing really truly to see here other than the fact that it's back above $1. And if you're confident in it, then you know what to do. Alright, XRP, what's next? Solana. Good old Solana. Now, it had that whole hack thing. It didn't get hacked, it got flooded with traffic, transaction traffic. So, you know, it boasts to handle 65,000 transactions per second, TPS. And yeah, it really got tested because the service got choked up, and yeah. Anyway, I think I mean I'm not a cryptographer. I don't pretend to understand how to fix that issue or like understand why it happened or if it's fixable. But you know, the blessing of that is whoever caused that is highlighting the weaknesses in Solana. So maybe that gives Solana the advantage to work on those weaknesses and make it stronger, which is better than moving forward into the future without knowing those weaknesses, without having someone highlight the weaknesses. And that's why these projects hold events called hackathons. They try to get people to test and break their their project, and then if these hackers highlight the issues that they have, they can then build or fix those problems and then move forward. So anyway, I'm still pretty bullish on it. I mean, performance-wise, the way it performs, 65,000 transactions per second is a hell of a lot faster than what Ethereum can handle at the current time. I know that there's Ethereum 2.0 on the cards, they've been working on that or proposing that since 2018. So yeah, I want to see ETH 2.0. It's been a while now. They need to fix the gas fee and the congestion issues and all that. But the direct competitors to Ethereum, like the ETH, the so-called ETH killers, are Cardano, Solana, and I think Polkadot. And then there's probably some others, but these are the ones that have most chance of taking Ethereum's place. And I think even Binance has its own environment that you can build things off, the Binance Smart Chain, BSC, but yeah, that's another story entirely. Alright, so from here, Solana, look at that. Once again, high to low gives you a Fibonacci resistance pattern, and check out where it met resistance. I don't even have to say it. I'll just circle it. So the pullback from that resistance, where are we going to find support? So I'm going to delete this fib, just bear with me, and we'll take the low to the high, and we'll target where the hell's this thing going to stop, pulling back. And can you see the falling wedge, which is supposed to be a bullish pattern? Oops. Can you see where it failed? So this falling wedge that was in got invalidated right here. It broke it. So now so that becomes invalidated, just like Bitcoin's rising wedge became invalidated because it broke. It broke the top, which, put that theory out the window. So I'll leave that there, but just know that it's been invalidated. Maybe I'll make my invalidated patterns dashed instead of being dotted. One sec, we'll change that. And then this one, make it dashed. I've noticed that the music has stopped. Just get that fixed. There we go. There's a weird gap in this playlist. It just goes quiet for a minute, and then it kicks up again. All right. So back to Solana. Yeah. From a support perspective, can you see the 0.5? There's a bit of a pivot here that we could be targeting as support, and it kind of has acted almost as support from that bounce, that initial bounce. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this came back down and tested this trend line here. See this white trend line that's climbing? It does kind of look like it wants to come back and see if it's going to act as support, or it's going to get, right there. I mean, that's a double confluence. That'd be a test of the trend line and the 0.5 Fibonacci level, which is, around this area. Now that's crazy. That's a whole bunch of chop just over there. But anyway, that's what we're looking at for Solana. If you're thinking of going long on Solana, this is the kind of environment where you should be paying attention, because it's currently in a pullback. It's pulling back off a high. And if you're confident that Bitcoin's going to maintain this run up, then I'm quite confident Solana's going to see a rally eventually as well. Whether it's in the next couple of days. It could even be a week away, like who knows. But yeah. All right, that's Solana. It's yeah, I think it's still strong, even though it's in pullback.
So
It's
to be
definitely-
clear, you're talking about a long on a spot trade where you have the opportunity to, dollar cost average. if you
Cost
need to.
average. Yeah, that's it. Yep. And if you're, I know that a lot of people were trading Solana through here, like when it was climbing through all-time high. I think it did this move when Bitcoin was pulling back. Like it did this crazy move up to make its all-time high when Bitcoin was falling backwards. So that's pretty impressive to see. Now, all right, we'll save that off and hit reset. And I think I want to get that fib back, that major fib, which goes from the all-time high to the lowest pullback from it. 1 second. Like that. Alright. Lock that in. So yeah, just the takeaways from this Solana thing. During this pullback, you want to see it maintain support above this white trend line. If it loses that, you're going to see it pull back to these lower levels here, like 128, 110, this area. But for the fact that the market's looking bullish, I think that's unlikely to see Solana drop out like that. Something fundamentally negative would also impact any coin in that fashion. Like, it doesn't matter about the technicals. Once you get fundamental bad news, it can ruin everything technically. So yeah, keep an eye on that trend. That's my advice, and I'm bullish on it long term. Now, what's next on the list? We've just had Solana. Now, everyone's favorite, Dogecoin. Let's check that out. I think I've already got a chart open for Doge. So yesterday we were looking at this trend line here, rising, and we saw that it broke. So it broke, acted as resistance. We got below it, and now it's resistance. So there is a bit of a threat here of a head and shoulders. So we're currently like at the neckline somewhat as we speak. Let me get an actual head and shoulders drawing tool here. Now remember, head and shoulders can be invalidated just like any other pattern, so don't let it dishearten you if you're a bull. I'm all for it being invalidated just like you are. But yeah, now the neckline is what's important. Like where do you draw the neckline? Some people draw it to the wicks, some people draw it to the candle bodies, but yeah, it's somewhat like that. So we're still above any kind of play of a confirmed head and shoulders, right? But it does look kind of ugly right now. The start to this daily candle saw a huge pullback, and we're currently in the negative for the day. We're down 2.44%, but we've just passed our first hour of the day, and the tail on that wick on the hourly there looks like there has been some demand to push it back at least to where it is now, and you can see evidence of it back here as well. Like, there's a lot of buying that happens at, what is this price, when it hits 24.5 cents basically, down to like 24.2. Yeah. All right, so that's Doge. It's kind of, let's see what pattern this is. 1 second. Delete that. Now this line's kind of been invalidated. It's been broken. I'm going to delete it. Some people say to keep them, but I delete them. I like to keep it clean. Now, let me just change this up. There is a little bit of a trend happening here You know, if we're excluding that wick, we're taking it just to the candle bodies like that. That's something to pay attention to. And then on the bottom side, there's this support. So it's like somewhat of a descending triangle like that. Now, the other thing that it may be, it's just too early to tell, is it could be a bull flag like that. Something like that. So this could still fall down to here, get a breakout here, and then rally up. You know, continue up. But it's a bit of it's a long stretch. It's nothing confirmed there as being a bull flag, but that I'll just leave that there as a dashed line, just because I'm not confident on that just yet, that theory. We're still holding support at 24, so 24 cents. Right. So now on the bigger picture, I think we're still inside of a long-term trend here on the top side. So there's the resistance, and yeah, there's headroom. There's room to move, just like BNB. There's room to move to come up and test the top, even if it does get rejected. There's you know, maybe we could come up and see, you know, 27.5 cents again, or 27 cents to be a bit more conservative. But the cool thing about Doge is it trends with Bitcoin. When things aren't like fundamentally happening for Doge, it tends to just relax into the flow of the market. So if the market's flowing up, it will see some kind of appreciation in value, much like it did here, you know. I think there's a couple of things on the cards for Doge, like there's a rocket launch or something happening later in the year, and I mean, early next year we have 420, which is the unofficial Doge Day, or I don't know if it's official or not, whatever. The fact is, we had a bit of a Doge Day back here. Like, we were like, you know, coming up to 43 cents, and like, I think the peak of that run was 44.83, which was awesome. And then we had the good old SNL event, which caused a huge run up to like 74 cents. So yeah, hopefully there's some viral situation that happens in the real world for Doge to be able to, you know, get another big rally, because I know there's a lot of people holding it, and yeah, I just want to see them get their money back, or at least get up into profit, you know, sorry, get into profit, or at least get their money back. That'd be good. I think a lot of people are riding on that or that hope. So
I'd like to see a poll, Rick. If you polled people to see if they bought between 64 and 74, or they sold between 64 and 74. That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Just on the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, for YouTube, I will put up a poll about Doge. I'm just gonna say, are you holding a position Doge above 40 cents, or above, let's see, above 30? I'm gonna say above 30. We'll see if anyone's holding, and that's cool if they are. It's no problem.
Yeah, no, that's awesome if they are, because I think, you know, like a lot of us, I think Doge can continue on, but it'd be interesting to see how many people, you know, sold out at 64 or took profits at 64. Not even sold out, but took some profits at 64, between 64 and 74.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Try to answer the poll as honest as you can. Some people might be angry that they're holding positions above 30 cents, and they're just going to say no because they're ashamed of the position. Don't worry about it. Just answer it honestly. It's anonymous. Like, we don't know who answered what, so yeah, go for it. And then we can get some kind of idea of how many people are in Doge. And I'm guessing some people probably averaged down as well. Like when Doge went down to 16 cents twice, there was opportunities to to buy those dips and improve your overall position, especially if you had bought, you know, above 40 cents, you know, God forbid above 60, or, you know, even in 70.
Yeah, that event was.
Yeah, absolutely. If you believed in it at 40 or even 60, then you should have been all in at 16. You know, come on.
Yeah. Well, the good news is it's established support at 20, and it's rallied up to, you know, 27. So that is a bit of hope there. It is definitely squeezing. So there's this indicator called the BBW, the Bollinger Band's Width Indicator. I'm going to bring it up just because it'll show you when things are squeezing, when volatility is reducing. So let me just find it. Here it is, the Bollinger Band's Width. Just excuse me, I've got to turn off a couple of indicators to be able to bring it up because I'm cheap and I cancelled my subscription to TradingView. There we go. Look at that squeeze. So when the Bollinger Band's Width indicator, the BBW indicator, is getting squeezed down to the bottom like that, you know that there's going to be an explosive move around the corner, because, you know, when you're on the floor, you can't go through the floor. You're on the floor. Like, the only way is up. It's kind of like when you hit rock bottom. The only way is up. So hang in there, you know. With Doge, like, now with the Bollinger Band's Width, when it's on the floor like this, if it goes up, that doesn't mean the price is going to go up. It just means we're going to get volatility again. So just be careful, because you don't want to see it drop back to 8 cents or something like that. But yeah, just going by the fact that Bitcoin's back up and the total market cap is climbing, I think Doge is going to see some of that money flowing back into the market. And
yeah, it's also where we were in January. You know, you're talking about 6, 7, 8 cents, and then we've gone to 16, we've gone to 64, 74, and we've only come back down to about 16 cents. So it's really a positive thing to see that we've established that floor, we've established that support. So, you know, it's encouraging.
Definitely. All right, so that's Doge. I'm still confident in it long term because it's climbing. Yep, I'll look at Shiba. Where are we on the list? We're in 8th position. 9th is a stable coin, and then Polkadot. I don't think there's too many people that trade Polkadot, but I'll give it a quick look anyway, and then I'll look at Shiba. Okay. Polkadot. Once again, a long-term descending trend line as resistance, and we've got a rising trend line as support. So it's going through that same thing where the volatility is reducing, and it's coming down into an apex like this. So usually what happens during a squeeze is you get a breakout, like it returns to volatility, and just with DOT, hopefully that's up, you know, that's what we're hoping for. Now this is the daily. The MACD is cooled right off. It's down at the histogram level, which is neutral. So there's every bit of space for this to rally up again. So it's not like it's overbought or anything like that. This can move up. It's got a lot of potential. All right, people are itching for Shiba. So let me do a very quick fib retracement on DOT, just so I'm not like rushing it. I know I'm rushing through DOT, but sorry about that. All right, look at that resistance at the golden area. It actually punched through that, it's gone beyond that. But can you see resistance on a climb back up? You do tend to get resistance around this location, you know, this area. And yeah, higher lows, you just want to see it maintain performance inside that wedge, if not breaking out for DOT in the long run. Everything below the daily chart is just the noise of the daily chart. So, you know, if you're scalping it, your concerns would be more in the 15, the 5, and the 1 minute. For these bigger market coin analysis, I don't tend to go down below an hour. Like I won't go down to the 15, 5, or 1 because they're not as relevant as the higher time frames when you're doing these kind of analysis. All right, so Shiba, let's do it. Wow, chemical. So this morning, earlier on today, we were looking at a trade that chemical was in on leverage, and she was facing liquidation a couple of times. There was a couple of close calls, and that was just here and here, but she came up into profit. It went way up into profit, and now, geez, look at that. If she had held that, she'd be up a hell of a lot. So yeah, this is an example of unless you know what you're doing, don't come into a group of people asking for their thoughts on something, because no one knows that this is coming, like this breakout. I didn't know it was coming. I don't think anyone was saying, wait for it because it's about to break out and go up to 3,000. But yeah, it's the risk you play. Like, especially when you're on leverage and you're dealing with a liquidation level, a liquidation price. Yeah, maybe she got back into it. I haven't caught up with her yet.
Hey, your advice was solid. I was there for that whole thing. Your advice was solid. She was in a really bad trade.
She almost lost her position, yeah.
She almost lost her position, and it turns out, she would have made a little more money, but she was in a really bad trade, and she got out at a good time. It turns out that she would have made a little bit more money, but the risk that she had exposed herself to, I mean, it was not, the trade was a bad trade. Hindsight's always 20/20. She could have made a little more money, but she's
probably in it now.
I
wouldn't doubt it that she's probably bought this run, because I mean, look how bullish that is. Like, it's rocketing again. I hope Prolific is still holding on to that.
Hopefully the leverage is not as high this time.
Yeah, well, one thing, like, I wish anyone in this community all the best. I want them to make as much profit as they can, and I want them to learn as much as they can as well. So, yeah, I'm definitely in no way trying to say what she should or shouldn't have done, or Anyway, I'll leave it at that. She's not here to sort of talk about her. I shouldn't have even brought her up, but anyway, I'm glad that the trade she was in went into profit and she took profit. It's a win. A win's a win, right? Yeah, I'll be catching up with her after this stream, and analyzing the rest of the market. I mean, I've pretty much gone through the top 10, and now I'm sort of just looking at what people are requesting. So someone's wanting to look at Shiba. Yeah, let's zoom out. Let's go to the daily chart. So we know that the start of the day, when Shiba got listed to Binance, there was this crazy wick that went up to 5,000. I know that coin market cap, if we go back here to Shiba Inu, if you go to historical data, I think it's 750, or 750 I think it was. Let me just go back here and see. Go to history, historical data. I know you guys call it data. But I think we go to the bottom.
The thing with Shiba is you can even be in a good trade, what seems to be a good trade, but it's so volatile. And if you're on, a high leverage, you can get in trouble real fast, because it can fluctuate 20%, almost per candle. It can fluctuate 20%. So it's really kind of crazy.
That's it. What was the date that it got listed onto Binance here? That was the 10th of May. So Here we go, May 10, here we go, alright. So it went up, here we go, 3,793 with 4 zeros in front of it. So 0.00003793 was the high. I think that's the highest point that it's ever been. I can't really see any examples of it higher than that. Oh wait, 388, May 10. So yeah, is it above that now? Or has it gone as high as that? 3498. Yeah, it's not quite there yet, but let's get 3888 on the board, just so we know. And I don't know where that information's coming from, like that figure, like which exchange was selling it at that price, 388. But that's the highest point that I can see historically for Shiba. Look at that, it got up to 19.5 billion in market cap. Oh no, that's volume, my mistake. Where's market cap here? 13.8 billion. That's the biggest market cap it's had. And then where is it now? It's at like 11. So it's approaching that all-time high again on Shiba. All right. Just be careful in it, guys. Like, it is so elevated. I know that it's moved again, but that was just... Yeah, the more it moves up, the riskier it becomes. Because there will be a point where it hits resistance and comes down very sharp. And you don't want to be, like, holding a bag in that kind of situation. So... I'm very excited to just catch up with Chemical and ask what she's doing with it, because I don't doubt she might have taken a trade again, and yeah, I think she's come into this Discord before, so maybe she'll pop in at some point.
I was glad to see her get a win.
Yeah,
I have an update for everybody.
Oh, you do? Oh, cool.
Yeah, Coinbase Pro crashed because so many people are buying SHIB.
Right. There you go. I mean, the thing's gone, yeah, pretty crazy. And was that just now? Is that why it's gone red here?
Yes, it happened just like in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I lost about 500.
What? Okay, and this is an example of why you have to be careful on these extremely volatile moves. Like, yes, it's going up rapidly, but you just have to know the risks. And if you keep buying into a trend higher and higher, you will eventually catch a really ugly position, and it can come back and bite you, you know? And that Chemical was so lucky in the position that she had, where it was threatening to liquidate her 3 major times here. But yeah, it managed to get back up into an area of profit, and we were just all helping her, like, understand that it's good to sort of take the cards off the table when you're in such a risky position like that. But you know,
also, I'm sorry, Rick. Also, ladies and gentlemen, SHIB is so cheap, and there's no reason to go crazy leverage. Just if you're going to trade SHIB, just do it on spot. That way, you can always, dollar cost average down.
Yeah.
That would be my best suggestion to you.
Yeah.
But
now, anything like me or anyone on here that's giving advice, it's just opinion. Remember that. Like this, we're not telling you what to do. Like I'm not telling you what to do ever. I'm just giving you my thoughts on it, my opinions. You can do with that information whatever you like.
My perspective, yes. My perspective.
Sorry, yeah. No, it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. There's there's disclaimers all over the place in the Discord, on the YouTube, that it's not financial advice. And you've probably seen that with a lot of other communities and channels. They all stress that, we're not. No one's a professional financial advisor. We're not licensed to be giving advice. But yeah, we can share our opinions, so that's fine. All right. Yeah, so Shiba pulling back right now very severely. Just, yeah, play it safe, guys. Don't
Hey guys,
buy into the hype.
Sorry, Rick. Go ahead.
Oh, it's all right. You're gonna say something?
I think we're going to see a massive pullback very shortly.
Do you mean in general, like with Bitcoin?
All of it. All of it.
All of it, right? Okay.
And the rationale is, and you know I'm a fundamentalist. Rationale is going to be the keeping the government. This big fight is the inflow for crypto right now because the stock market very volatile right now. So people are coming over here in a short time. But I think we're going to see about 47 on BTC within the week.
All right.
Rick,
Well.
just
Yep.
following the same train of thought, can you bring up the fear and greed for us?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell the one joke I always tell. When you put socks and shoes on a polar bear, he still has bare feet.
There you go. 76 extreme greed right now.
Right, and so that just, it kind of falls into that same idea that, you know, right now everything's super hot. We're gonna have to have a little bit of a pullback here. I mean, just, it has to happen.
And without a doubt, there's going to be people that get stuck because extreme greed attracts retail. Retail buy into it.
There's really no rationale for BTC to be applied. I can't name a rational, fundamental reason crypto to go up at this point. Earnings are coming out on the stock market over the next 2 weeks. This is the biggest time for the stock market, and the instability of the infrastructure bill plus the funding of the government and their infighting is putting a lot of money out of the market, and it's going somewhere. That's the rationale, in my opinion.
No worries. Well, yeah, all opinions.
I think we're going to see a little bit of a melt up on the stock market, and it's going to result in a little bit of a meltdown in Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but crypto. But I think it's going to be short-lived. I think it's going to happen over the course of a week or two, and then we're going to be off the races again. But that's just my opinion, not financial advice.
Hey Slayer, I agree with you, man. I definitely think we're gonna have a mild pullback, maybe to 0.5 fib, and then take off.
Yeah, I mean, opinions they're all welcome, but don't let it create hostility, like you know, and respect others' opinions, and when you hear something counter to what you think, just like don't attack. You don't have to attack it, or you know, just try to remain civil.
Try to be like Rick. Try to be like Rick. What would Rick say?
Right. Well, yeah. if that gets you there. But
hey Rick, just another one. Can you bring up like the DXY and try to do a little bit of comparison there? I mean, the DXY usually has an inverted relation to Bitcoin. Is the DXY still heading up now, or are we looking at any kind of TA that could show that it may be dropping?
I'll have a look.
I'm just trying to throw these ideas out. You know, I'm sure you've gone over this stuff before. I'm just trying to help out other people's.
Yeah, no worries, man. So the currency index. Now, I don't trade the stock market at all. Like, I don't know the first thing about trading stocks. But am I looking up the Nasdaq, the index? Which chart should I use?
Yeah, you can choose any of the top three there. Just the US dollar currency index.
Okay, cool. And it looks like I do have it on my watch list already, but let me add it back in so I can find it. There we go. All right. So the US dollar on the daily. Yeah, it's found support down here.
I'd almost hope that we were going into a upward facing triangle there. Maybe we can get it to drop back out and be great.
Oh yeah, like you mean like a rising wedge?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, yeah, rising wedge.
Yeah, you're right. Let's put one of those on and I'm gonna save this chart so we can keep like checking it. The US dollar. So I'll do the classic thing where I make it red lines because it is a bearish kind of pattern, a rising wedge, so you got to be careful of them.
And this kind of falls in the same things Clive was talking about with the way the markets are running, and the US dollar is kind of in trouble or not in trouble. It seems like it's almost climbing because we're not getting the infrastructure bill to go through. It means there's not going to be more money printed, which in turn would devalue the dollar more. So right now, I think we're kind of in a holding pattern, but it should break down hopefully if this pattern stays true.
Yeah.
Are you what are you what is your pair against the US dollar? And B, not printing the dollar will actually cause up, not down.
I'm sorry, what was that, Clive? You broke up a little bit.
Okay. A, when you're doing the US dollar, you're comparing it to something like either the EU, the Japanese yen, the peso, the riyal, etc. Point B, real quick, is not printing money is going to decrease, is going to not increase the supply, and therefore the dollar should go up, not down.
So increasing the supply does not indicate that the
no, you said that they're not printing. They're not printing dollars, so it should go up.
Yeah, I think we agree on that. I think that with them not printing the dollars, it still gives it an opportunity to continue on its upward trajectory.
Okay. Now I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah,
but
sorry, go ahead.
What is your you always trade the dollar against something else. What are you trading it?
The index is not traded against. I think maybe the index is maybe all of the pairs at once. You'd have
okay. That's fair enough against the world economy. The internal strength of it. That I understand. I don't do forex. I can't afford it.
Yeah, it's normally it's kind of surprising to see the dollar continue to climb with Bitcoin continue to climb. Usually they work in inverse of each other.
Actually, I have to take case point against that. There has been very little correlation BTC and the US dollar, nor gold. These positive indexes have failed so many times they're becoming coincidental, where people are saying, oh, it's going up because, and that day it is, but correlation is not causation. And I come from the era where gold goes up, dollar goes down, et cetera, et cetera. And it did it that way for 3,000 years. But that correlation actually doesn't work anymore. And it really surprised me about a decade ago. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Oh, sorry, I was on another window. Yeah, completely.
Okay, I have seen that correlation not work as well as it used to. And I don't know the reason, but you have to take consideration. You'll often see BTC or crypto in general and the market go up. They're like, oh, they're positively correlated. And then 2 weeks later, they'll go in opposite directions. And the other side will say, oh, well, that's because they're opposite. And so everyone makes their point based on their own data to their own agenda, as it were. Over.
All right, so I'm just gonna have a look at some other alts that the YouTube chat are asking about. Someone mentioned Phantom FTM, and as you can see, yeah, it's punched through levels of resistance that it was facing, which is back here. These pivots. So we had here, and again here. So that level was proving to be a challenge for it, and now it's punched through quite strong. From now a retrace from its all-time high to the low after that high has given us these Fibonacci levels to take note of. And look, check out where it's currently met. It's currently wicked up to the 786 Fibonacci level, and it kind of, I would call this a test of the golden ratio, the 618. So you can see it came up, got rejected by the 618, trended back down, found support, and now it's punched through it, and it's at the next hurdle. So yeah, it is gunning to try and get back up into price discovery. So there's like this big old cup formation forming on Phantom. So now from an oscillator perspective, I'm on the 4-hour chart here, and there is still room for the MACD to climb. Like, it's only just crossed. Like, this thing could rally up and get, you know, high up like this, you know. You can see how high this thing can go. Like the MACD can trend pretty strong. And same with the RSI. Like, this thing has only just gone up above 70 just, and in the past it's performed up around, you know, 87. So there's more headroom, there's more room to move up. So Phantom, yeah, definitely looking bullish. The lows are all higher. Let me just draw a trend line for you to see that. All of these lows trending up. The highs are getting higher too. So yeah, it's just a beautiful uptrend. Now, the thing to be careful of is things like double tops and head and shoulders. Those are the things that like kind of signal a reversal or a pivot. So yeah, if you stay safe with them, or if you know, you should be able to avoid losing money. You know, if you use reasonable stop losses and have those fail safes in place, you prevent situations like bag holding and you know, liquidation. So, and if you find that you're getting stopped out a lot, there's something wrong that you're doing with your entries. Like, you're probably buying in at the wrong time, like during a pump. So in moments like this, when things are pumping, you should not be like taking longs like at the top of a move, right? You need to wait for those days where things pull back and find support, and test support, or test the bottom of a trend as well. So yeah, that would be my advice for taking positions. Now, something that I try to avoid, like sometimes I might do it like inadvertently, but I won't give you positions to take. Like, I'm not a signals kind of person. I don't give signals to people. So the thing with that is, like, the caution that I'm giving out could make people miss out on something that happens positively. Like, for example, with Chemical, like, if she had just held her position, that would have seen a lot more of a gain off her initial buy-in down here. So yeah, this is why, like, giving out signals and positions is you're backing yourself into a corner, because you don't truly know where anything's headed. Like, no one has a crystal ball. Like, you don't see where a move happens. So all we can do is give advice on how to better read a chart, and, you know, give advice on, if someone's using leverage, don't go high leverage with a large position, because it's just a recipe for higher risk, that you taking on higher risk. And that's kind of you know, the situation she was in this morning. Like, she was close to losing that position a couple of times, here, and here. But yeah, it's awesome that the trade ended up going back into the green, so into profit. And yeah, I think she doubled her money, or made 10% or something like that. I don't know. It was profit at the end of the day. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
Rick, anytime you help somebody make profit, especially if they're in a bad trade and not sure about what they're doing,
Right.
I was there for the whole thing, and she made profit. She was in a loss. She was in a loss 3 to 5 times that I could see, and there was several people talking to her, and she came out with a profit. And maybe she could have made some more money, but she came out with a profit out of a bad trade. Yeah, it was a really bad trade.
It was scary. It was risky.
Yeah,
many times it was just yeah. She was
got
lucky. Yeah.
I have a new indicator for you guys. You want to know what it is?
What's that?
When you're selling your family silver to me, you're in a bad trade.
When you're selling your silver, did you say?
Your family silver. When you sell your family silver to me, you're in a bad trade.
Oh, I don't understand.
Yeah, you had to be there.
Was this something that happened in the past?
It's about to happen.
Oh.
She's got a very valuable silver set that's been passed down, and I'm trying to give her a great price on it, but I really don't want to buy it from her. Worth many thousands, and she's going to get ripped off at the local pawn shop.
Oh, I see.
I think I'm offering her about triple what you there, but I don't really want to buy it because and I'm actually going to hold it probably for a year, buy it back anytime at what I paid for. But when selling your family jewels to me, or you got a problem.
Well, anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap up the. I'll have a look at a couple more. How about that? We've just looked at FTM. That's looking crazy. That's going up. Beautiful. Some other ones were. What was that other one?
I got a jam, man. Thank you for everything.
Oh,
appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Thanks for popping in. All right, I think it was Matic.
The last 20 minutes really balled.
Yeah.
How a big pullback. Since we've been talking, BTC dropped 1,000.
Yeah, it's been wicking down, like threatening to drop, but yeah, it's still up there. It's still holding that that level. It's below 55, but yeah, no, it's still very much up and elevated. Now, let me just talk about Matic here. So, Matic is. Let me go to the daily, and I'm gonna get rid of some of these old TAs here. Wait, let's start fresh. Let's get rid of all that mess. Alright, here we go. Immediately from this, I can see a trend line on the bottom. Something like that. Can make it a little prettier. I think that's pretty much what we're dealing with. If you take it to here, yeah, maybe that's a bit more accurate. And then you've got one on the top side as well. So BNB and Doge are doing a similar thing to Matic right now. And they're inside this huge, like, wedge. This huge, angle, triangle. And there it is. Alright, so with a fib retracement, we're going to see what kind of levels it met resistance at, and I'm very interested to see where this, like, why it met resistance there. Like, was that a fib level? Was it a pivot? Let's see if there's any kind of evidence with the fib. Okay, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's between the 0.5 and the 0.618, so it's I'm guessing that's just as high as it got before Bitcoin did that flash crash, you know, pulling back. Yeah, bit of resistance around the 0.5, but yeah, it didn't quite make it to test the 618, which would have been nice to see. Would have been good to see it at least validate and show that it's paying attention to the fib levels. But you know, what if you adjust? See, this is the thing. This is like kind of cheating, where you adjust your fibs so that it lines up with the with a test of the golden pocket. Like maybe it is off that high there instead of the all-time high. But yeah, let's keep it consistent. I'll use the all-time high as the top, and then the lowest point after that high as the bottom. And yeah, that's what we're dealing with. But for now, it's Matic reminds me of Doge. Like I want to see it do well, but it doesn't have that volume coming in at this point. It's a game of patience with that. With Doge and Matic, they both need their investors to be patient, because the day hasn't arrived yet where it rallies like crazy, like what Shiba is doing. But it'll come, it'll happen. Just gotta keep hanging in there. So I think so that's Polygon or Matic network. It's in the more immediate like price action. If I delete that, we've got this high here that we're dealing with, because you can do fibs off them too. You can see if there's any kind of bounce and tests to that level. And so far it's fighting to get above the 382 fib level. This looks kind of like healthy to me. Like if it just went sideways a bit here, maybe broke the 382, it came up and met the trend line as resistance here, which coincides with a test of the 0.5 fib level. And then, you know, maybe it goes higher than that. Maybe it starts performing like tomorrow or the next day, and it tests the golden fib pocket, which would line up with a retest of these highs as resistance, and then before getting, you know, rejected and maybe coming down and finding support at the bottom of the trend line here, the rising trend line. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm more of a bull than a bear, like in the super long term for crypto. I think that's the case with everyone. I think we all see that it's quite obvious that crypto as a whole has been appreciating in value over time on the larger time frames. It's still like a brand new you know, market. The actual height, like the peak market activity has only been really happening in the last 5 years, especially in the last 3, like since, you know, 2018, 2019, and now 2020 and 2021. But anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. It's kind of like reaching that point where we've sort of covered all the exciting things that are happening at the moment. Maybe like the next stream that I do, I won't go through the top 10 as heavy as I did, and I'll just more so just take requests from people in the YouTube chat asking me to look at whatever XYZ. Yeah. All right, guys. I might do this thing where I end my stream rather than let it go for 24 hours straight, and then I'll just, at least then you can watch the replay of the stream, as it's only gone for an hour and 40 minutes, rather than me do like a 5-day stream and then it doesn't get uploaded, because you can't go back and watch a stream if it's gone beyond 12 hours. So just some kind of weird thing that YouTube has running where they don't seem to upload things that go beyond 12 hours, but that's understandable. Anyway, I'm still going to be bouncing around in the other channels in Discord, you know, catching up with people and doing whatever. But for now, thanks for tuning in, and Wishing you guys all the best with your trades, and just remember to play it safe and take your profits when they're there. All right.
Thanks, Rick.
Catch you later.
We appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rick.